everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a matching set for the matching set that I made in last video for my daughter. So I have some leftover fabric and I think it's going to be just enough to make her a little teeny set to go with my set. I don't have a pattern to follow for this, so I'm actually going to be drafting my own pattern using her clothes that already fit her, and then we're going to modify that a bit to kind of match the style that I want it to be. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is take an outfit that already is in the size that you want, and we're going to draft a pattern from it. I'm actually using this scrap paper that I cut out, like when I cut the pattern for my other pieces, this was what was left over. So I'm just piecing some paper together to create this. But first step will be to turn them inside out. And then what you wanna do is you wanna find all the seams of where you wanna cut. So say I wanna cut this front piece. So I don't want to include the waistband, that's a separate piece. And then I had to triple check, but, well, actually on this one, they just folded it over, but I'm going to make it a separate piece. So I don't want to include the waistband, so I'll tuck that in. So now we have the seam here, and then we have the little leg seam, and I don't want that either. So I'm going to tuck that in and then do the same thing on this leg. And then now you're going to put this on your piece of paper, and then you want to trace this shape. That will not be the final pattern. We're gonna then have to add a little bit for our seam allowance. And then you just wanna do this for every single piece that you're going to cut. So this top has a front, a back, 2 sleeves, and then 2 cuffs. And then these just have a front and a back and like a little ruffle on the side. I should not have started with the shorts because that was actually really difficult. I didn't account for the elastic, so the fabric is larger than the measurements here because the elastic is making it smaller. So I had to like really stretch it out, but we've got our pattern pieces. I've got the actual leg pieces. I've got the waistband, and I have the ruffle. So the shorts are ready to be cut out and constructed, but I'm actually going to take a break for now because nap time is over. So I'm going to hopefully in her second nap do the top, which will be much easier because there's no elastic. So I'll be able to sit down and explain that better. I started to try to explain the shorts and then I was like, actually, I don't even know what I'm doing. So I need to like sit down for a second. But the top will be easy. There's no elastic. So it'll be exactly the seams that are already existing. I don't have to do any stretching or any math or anything like that. Well, still some math, but not as much as I had to do on here. So complete, we're ready to make some shorts. All right, take 2 on the pattern making. So with the shirt, since there's no elastic, this will be much easier. We're going to turn it inside out. I'll start with the back since that's easily noticeable from the tag, but we're going to place it down so that all of the seams are visible. Oh, darn, I need more paper. All right, there we go. I'm just trying to save paper by using the pieces that I don't need from cutting out my pattern for mine, because why just throw this paper out when I can just use it to make my pattern? But anyway, let's take our inside out shirt, back side, put it down, and then I'm just going to fold in like this so that I can see the seam, all of the pieces that aren't the back piece. So now you can see that this is the seam here. So I'm just going to trace all the way around. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 inch to everything. So that will give us enough for our seam allowance, our hems, and all that. So now I'm just going to repeat the same process with the front side. Next thing we have to do is the sleeve. So I'm going to start with the 3 edges that I can do, and then I'm going to kind of try to mark this side since I can't really get to that seam to trace it. That should work by just kind of guessing like that. So now I'm going to add my 1/2 inch to each side, and then I will cut it out. The very last bit is just the ruffle. So all I'm gonna do is just measure the circumference and then multiply it by 1.5 to give us a little extra fabric so we can make it ruffly like this one is. The only other pattern I needed was for the bias tape. I am gonna make my shirt a little different than this one. So this fabric is like super, super stretchy and mine is not. So I'm actually going to make a little notch in the back, and then I'm going to use the rest of the bias tape to make a strap to make a tie so we could get it on and off easy and not have to do any snaps or anything like that. So I'm not actually sure how much bias tape I'm going to need because I'm going to go all the way around down this little piece I'm going to create, and then it's going to be straps as well. So just to be safe, I'm making a bunch, and to save paper I just am using the bias tape pattern from the shirt that I already made myself. It will probably be too much, but I'd rather have too much than too little because it would be super annoying to run out of it. So just to save paper and time, I just attached all of the bias tape pieces together, and it's just painter's tape, so it'll come off nice and easy, so I can use this again for myself. I was actually able to get all of my fabric cut and ready to go, so that was perfect. And the baby just woke up, so perfect timing. So happy that I was able to draft the pattern and cut the fabric today. So tomorrow, which will actually be at the shore already, I'm going to start the construction, and I'm hoping that it will take me like 1 to 2 days, since I kind of have my bearings with how the set for me was constructed. I also think that it'll take less time because the scale is much, much smaller, but sometimes small means harder too, so we'll see. But see you guys tomorrow. It is day 2, and what I have done so far is I just finished off all of the edges of my pieces besides the hem of the shirts, because it would have just been a little too much bulk to do a full, like a rolled hem, the way that I want to do it. But the reason that I decided to finish off the edges now instead of once the seams are done is because I don't want to repeat the mistake of last time, where when I was making my set, I had some fraying issues to the point where it kind of ruined my piece and I had to recut it. So I decided to just save myself the headache and finish off all of my raw edges now, so I don't run into that problem later. They have to be finished anyway, so whether I do it before or after doesn't really matter, but it will save me the headache of my pieces unraveling, because this fabric frays so bad. It is so pretty, it is so nice, it is so comfortable, because I've worn my set a bunch now, but it just frays into a million pieces. So I got that out of the way, so now we can start actual construction. The first thing that I'm going to do actually is not sewing any of my pieces together. It is actually going to be cutting the back piece. So I didn't finish off the raw edge on the top, so like the neck line, because I actually need to cut some of the neckline so that it's able to go on and off, because this is not a stretchy fabric and I didn't put elastic around the head. So I need a way to expand the fabric so it can fit over the head and back on and off. So how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to create like a little V or a little like oval, I haven't decided yet, and then I'm gonna have a little tie at the top, so it will be like a tie closure in the back, but that little extra bit will be able to make the fabric kind of pull open just enough to get it on and off. So gonna do that now, and then I haven't decided if I want to start construction of the top or the bottom first. I also have to make a ton of bias tape, which I'm not looking forward to, because last time it took me like 45 minutes to make all of the bias tape. So let's see what we get into. I cut it to a size I thought would work, and then essentially I'm going to have like a little tie right here to keep the shirt up in the back, but I just did a basting stitch so that I could take it out if I needed to. I'm going to put the top together and then try it on her. She's sleeping right now, so I can't try this on her right now to see if it would work. But I thought that I would just do what I think would work for the time being, construct what I can, and then when she wakes up, try it on to see if this is enough room to take it on and off. And then once I do all the bias tape and stuff, there'll be a little tie right here to like kind of be like a closure. And now we have a little bodice, so cute. So this is the front. We've got the armholes, the hem isn't done yet, but the side, and then on the back it'll be like this with a little tie here. So cute. We do have to do sleeves, but I really want to try this on her before I go any farther in case I have to make some edits. So I'm gonna wait for her to wake up. So until then, I'm actually going to put together the shorts, and then I want to try everything on her. And then maybe I'll also iron the bias tape since that takes a really long time. And now we've got the start to our little shorts. I think this is the back. Yeah, this is the front. So I'll attach the waistband with the elastic, and then I have some little ruffles to come off the bottom. So it's not really like a pant leg, it's just like an extra little bit. It's gonna be so cute. A few things. I don't know where my bias tape is, so I already cut it. I had it ready to go, and I swore I put it in my bag. Like, it even was separate from all of the other pieces, and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I need to put this in my bag. And I put it in my bag, and now I just unpacked my bag and I've ripped through the whole bag. I've gone through all of our bags that we packed our clothes in. I've gone through literally every single bag we brought, and I cannot find it anywhere, so that's super annoying. So I can't even do the bias tape right now, so I'm going to just do my rolled hem for my ruffle, and then I'm gonna have to cut a new bias tape. And I also didn't even bring the pattern piece because I had used the pattern piece from my top, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna need to cut my bias tape again because like I made plenty. It's not the end of the world, like I can just measure it, but it's just such an annoying length to measure straight and cut without a pattern. So very, very frustrating. On a good note though, I love the ironing board and the iron. Every time I use my mother-in-law's iron, I'm like, my iron is so bad and I need to replace it. I need to get a new iron, and I need to get a standing ironing board because everything goes so much faster when I have this. I am just wrapping up for the day, and I ended up trying the top on her, and we did have to make the opening just a little bit bigger. Honestly, also the neckline was like way too high, so I cut the neckline down a little bit, and then I also lowered the back little like V by about 3/4 of an inch, and that gave us the perfect amount of room. And then it was a little tight on her arms. I guess the other fabric is like really, really stretchy, so I just took the arms in. I mean, I didn't take them in, I made them bigger, so I cut some of the armhole off to make the armhole a little bit bigger. So this is where I'm gonna leave off today. And then tomorrow I have my ruffle prepped, so I have that like the trim ready to be top stitched, and so I can put that on the short if I wanted to. Oh, and then I realized that I also cut the waistband wrong, and I don't have enough of this fabric for the waistband, so it's gonna be the teal color. It'll be fine, it'll look cute anyway. So tomorrow's agenda is to hem the ruffles, cut the bias tape, and also iron the bias tape. And then I have to make new sleeves. So I have my sleeves cut out. I don't have them sewn together. They're just cut out, but they are now too small because I cut the armholes bigger. So tomorrow will be cutting bias tape, cutting a waistband, cutting new sleeves, hopefully attaching the sleeves ruffles on bottoms and top, and then maybe the waistband. And then I still have to do the bias tape, like to actually attach all the trim to the top. That's a little bit of an ambitious to-do list, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. It is the next day, and when we were trying stuff on her yesterday, we both kind of thought, we as in me and my husband, we were trying it on her. The top just kind of looked off as a long sleeve. It looks like way too stiff because this fabric is like, it's not stiff, but it's thicker and like less elasticy than the material that the set I was using to draft the pattern out of is. Like that one's much more stretchy. So I think I'm gonna pivot and actually make it like a little like thick strap tank top. So not like a spaghetti strap, like it'll still be like the fabric. And then add the ruffle to that. Yesterday she was wearing a like little like romper onesie that kind of does the exact same thing I'm thinking of. It has like a sleeve up like this, and then it has like a teeny little ruffle off the shoulder. So I think that would be really cute. So I am going to modify that. I've already kind of cut some of the shoulder off to make it more of like a tank top, but I kind of need to wrap my head around that one. So in the meantime, I think I'm going to finish the bottoms because I'm really close to finishing that. So I'll add the elastic and the, oh no, she's sleeping and I need to measure her leg and her waist for the elastic. I forgot about that. All right, let me think on this because I need her measurements. All right, well, I can at least do the trim of the ruffle, like stitch the trim and then create the channel in the leg for the elastic. And then I will just have to do the actual elastic after she wakes up. Darn, that's super frustrating. Okay. All right, pivoting. This is the elastic I'm using for the shorts to have them have the elastic around the leg. So all I'm doing right now is seeing how large I have to make my channel so that the elastic can be fed through it. So let's see. I think that's good because then I can stitch right along, like pretty much right underneath the finished edge. That should give me enough room. Let me find my little tape measure. So how far is that? All right, 1/2 inch, perfect. So I'll fold it up 1/2 inch and then I will stitch it pretty much exactly along that stitch of the finished edge, leaving a little bit open so I can then, once I measure her leg, I can send the elastic through so that this will be like a cinched little leg here. So I'll do that, make the channel for both sides. And then I do still have to cut the waistband. So I can cut and attach the waistband, and then that's all I can really do until I get her measurements. I mean, maybe I could attach the ruffle too, but I think that should be attached last. So yeah, waistband, channel, and then I'll have to wait for her measurements to add the elastic. Since I already have the blue thread in, I'm going to do the hem of the ruffles because that's the color that I need for it. just got all the way around and I messed up. I wasn't thinking. And I sewed these together, so now the pin can't get through. I sewed it wrong together, but I've already sewn all the way around the waistband. I don't know what to do to fix this. I guess I'm gonna have to seam rip the waistband. Because yeah, like this is closed. I should have attached it when they were not folded over. That was my mistake. I just wasn't thinking. So 25 minutes of seam ripping later, I got it off and I attached these together the correct way. So now I'm going to reattach my waistband, put on the elastic, and my model is here so I can put it on her and make sure it fits. Today is the last day I have that I can work on this, so I'm really hoping to finish it today. I think I'll be able to finish the shorts this afternoon. I only have a couple steps left, but I'm not really sure I'll be able to finish the top. I really hope that I can, but we'll see. I think I'll definitely have to do some work tonight after she goes to sleep. It's just because, again, it's kind of like the same thing with the set that I made myself. I just want her to be able to wear it while it's still warm like it is. So I'm putting a, what is it called? Like a self deadline, I guess. I don't know. But also I really would like to have this project wrapped up before we go back home to Philly, because I hate having to leave with like a half-finished project. I just have some odds and ends to finish on the waistband and the legs, and then I can add the ruffle, and then we can take a look at the top and see what's able to get done today. The bloomers part of the shorts are officially done. I have the waistband on, all of, little thread. All of the elastic in the leg is placed and good. And now I just have to attach my ruffle. So I've what is this called? I've pre-gathered the fabric. So now I just have to stick it in, and I'm doing the exact same construction of the shorts that she has. So I'm putting them in on the inside and then stitching again on the top. So I hope that comes out cute, because honestly you can tell my stitching wasn't perfect on this one, but I also think too it's on a baby and she's going to be moving around, so you're not really going to tell that my stitching was not perfect. I will definitely never be doing a ruffle like that ever again. It looks so sloppy, and I can't even finish the raw edge because it's attached to the raw edge that's already sewn down. So I guess I should have pre-done the raw edge. Like, this is terrible, and I'm really upset about it, but I can't even unpick it because I don't know which one is holding the elastic and which one is holding the ruffle. I do think, like, from far away, it's like, can you really tell? Yes. But I guess this side looks a little better, which I think this is the back. Oh no, this is the front. Okay, good. The front looks better. The front looks better. Still not great. I just have to seam rip the basting stitch and attach the other one, and then the shorts are done. In the future, I would not attach it like that. Like, it looks good on the shorts I had used for the pattern because those are machine made, like mass produced. These, I shouldn't have attached the ruffle like this, but lesson learned. I will not do that again. And I would finish off this raw edge, but the reason I didn't finish off the raw edge was because I thought it would mess with the gathering, but hindsight, I should have, because now I'm just gonna have this raw edge here. I'm not really gonna do anything about it because she's honestly only probably gonna fit in this for like another couple weeks. She's gonna probably grow out of it. So it's not the end of the world if like some of the ruffle starts to fray in here and then I just clip it myself if it gets too bad. But in terms of doing a ruffle like this, I would definitely revisit the construction of this and try it a different way. All right, a ton of frustration later, but the little shorts are done. I keep saying shorts, but they're really kind of just like bloomers. But I guess for a baby, that is shorts. But yeah, here they are. They're not the best constructed. The stitching on the front is very much so bothering me, but it is cute. So I just hemmed out the shirt off camera because honestly I was a little frustrated and needed to just kind of ground myself in creativity. So instead of doing a rolled hem like I was going to do originally, I actually decided to crop the shirt a little bit and do a ruffle of the alternating fabrics. So it does like the teal, the striped, the teal, and then the striped again. And I thought I was really saving myself time by just finishing off this edge and calling that a hem, but now I'm realizing you can kind of see it, but I'm hoping that on you won't be able to see it that much. I kept getting frustrated, but I have to remember I'm just kind of thinking of this off the top of my head. I'm not following a pattern of any kind. So I need to just kind of reel in my expectations, and there's going to be things that aren't perfect because someone's not telling me how to do it. I'm just step by step trying to think of how I want it to look. But the last step is just the bias tape, which I've said before I forgot at home, which is really annoying. So I'm going to cut that out and hopefully be able to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to because the ironing of that takes forever. So later that night, I decided to just finish it off camera, and I think it came out so cute. It fits her so well. Thank you so much for watching, and please enjoy the final product.